Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to WCS America. Round of 16 is hotting up right now. We've already had 5 players going through to our round of 8. We're about to find out who the 6th player is, and he's coming from Group C. It's China versus Korea. Nathanias is back with me. Arthur versus TooDming. I'm a little surprised, if only because Max Ed has been very steady in WCS America over the last 2 seasons. Season 2 and 3 both made the quarterfinals each season. Was going for a 3rd in a row as well, and has been stopped in his tracks by a Chinese Zerg who was absolutely on fire.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting result, I think, for a lot of people that maybe don't know as much about TooDming. I feel like we kind of talked about this, he's definitely on a comparable level to both, the Jim Max said Protoss Chinese combo that we talked about a lot, and Max had probably just had a lot more hype built up to him for this point. Most people might have said, okay, he'll get out of the group. Obviously, TaeJa was going to get out of the group, but I think this gives us an interesting rematch based on some of the crazy play that we saw from Arthur in his first series earlier today against TooDming.
Okay, there's an interesting couple of facts about this. First of all, TooDming ZVP is currently ranked 28th in the world right now by Ligulac, which is pretty decent by any standards. And Arthur, PVZ, is currently ranked 20th in the world. So they're both pretty good at this matchup, which means that it's difficult for us to call this one. What do we look for here? Do we look at their previous results? Do we look at how they've played today? What's the biggest factor for you?
I feel like looking at the play that both of them have brought today gives a really good indication of the styles that we might see come out again. Arthur has shown in both his match earlier versus TooDming and also versus TaeJa, he's not afraid to take some incredibly aggressive risks and try to bring those big builds to win early, especially that cannon rush I keep thinking about in the first series. That's the kind of thing that, since Arthur's already beaten TooDming with builds like this, I feel we have to see some more defensive or very, very scouting-oriented early games from TooDming, and that can already give Arthur an advantage. He's already taken the first series, and that mental edge could be enough to carry him over.
First series was 2-1. It was a relatively close affair. I mean, the first map slipped away from him very quickly. I mean, he just almost didn't know what was going on before it hit him. And then suddenly, second map, a little bit more even than third map, as you said. He just basically kind of won very straightforwardly. So, is it in his mind? Does he think, okay, I've got this guy's number? Or is TooDming sitting there thinking, all right, he thinks he's got my number, but actually I've got a few more builds in my arsenal?
Well, I think that we haven't seen everything that Arthur has potentially up his sleeve. There's such a wide variety of builds that you can throw out there, and even seeing just some of the damage that was able to be done to TooDming with Dark Templar, certainly Arthur was watching those games, keeping an eye on the potential builds that can come out, and I really feel like I have to give Arthur the edge here, just because he took the first series, and he's also had a lot of time now to see even more Zerg versus Protoss that TooDming was able to play. And while TooDming, I'd say, is maybe more solid in the macro game, he played very well, especially in that first map that he had against Arthur in the first series. I still a little bit worried for him going into this final match.
What do you think TooDming needs to concentrate and focus on more than anything else to beat Arthur?
I think it'll be interesting to see where he vetoes his maps, and if we see him try to get those bigger maps, or even just only go for 2-player maps because he wants to be able to scout Arthur quickly. Those kinds of decisions are going to show maybe where he's focused, if he wants the bigger map for the long game, if he wants to have the smaller maps just so he can scout more easily. I don't necessarily think that TooDming is going to find his edge in trying to be more aggressive than Arthur.
Okay, all right, good thoughts. Glad to have you here as always. It's fabulous to have you here in Europe, but hopefully you'll go back to Los Angeles next year. Don't be offended. Yeah. We just want you to be in LA. We are, of course, on our way through the round of 16. We've got Group D coming after this, so don't tune out just yet, because there's 5 more matches of StarCraft 2 to finish off the round of 16 coming your way this evening, and it is going to be a cracker. Bomber and Polt both in action with 2 players that think they can beat them as well. It's going to be very interesting. But now, let's wrap up Group C with our final game in that group to decide who goes through to the quarterfinals. Which is it going to be, China or Korea? Let's find out with your commentary team who are going to enjoy this one.
Thank you very much, Paul, and we are definitely going to enjoy this one, as the moment has finally came for a Litot and Leroti cast here at WCS America round of 16. It took 2 days, Todd, but now we're here.
Yeah, I'm a little bit mad because I lost the seats on this corner. Best of 1 rock, paper, scissors to you, which, as I don't know how you win every single time. It's starting to be bothering me a lot, but at least we have a good game. We have a rematch. TooDming versus Arthur. I'm becoming a big fan of TooDming very rapidly here, to be honest. This guy does a lot of amazing things. He gets pneumatized carapace very, very quickly in a lot of his games. He scouts very, very well. That triple contaminate, man, that was great. I really feel like he was unfortunate previously with in the first match that he played against Arthur. The Habitation Station game, big mistake, but then on Alter Team, he took a bit of a gamble. It's like he's probably DTs hidden somewhere on the map. I'm just going to get a bunch of links and a spawn. It wasn't. He just died. So going into this series, I would go as far as saying as that I think he has a very good chance as long as he doesn't get, again, very unfortunate.
Yeah, I'm actually going to agree with you. Nathan said that he still gives the edge to Arthur. I would actually give the edge to TooDming. He impressed me a lot in the round of 32. I know he captured a lot of hearts from StarCraft fans with that beautiful surround that he had back then. And even in the last series, we saw a couple of beautiful engagements by our Chinese Zerg. And only you, Todd, could be mad about losing a rock, paper, scissors. You are that competitive.
It's not about the rock, paper, scissors itself. It's just the chair, man.
We both like to sit on the left side. If I sit on the left chair, I look way more pretty than when I sit on the right chair.
What the hell? Why?
It's my good side. The right side, as the Germans would say.
You have a good side, man.
Oh, snap.
You have two good sides.
Oh. The Germans would say it's my Schokoladeseiten or something like that. It means like your chocolate side, pretty side. I don't know.
Well, that sounds good.
Thanks
for making me hungry.
The endless point is going to be the first veto for Arthur, and TooDming will veto Yangsil. Well, last time he didn't veto Altazim Stronghold. I guess TooDming is completely okay with that, and I don't think he would mind playing it again. But this time Arthur will veto Altazim. So that's interesting, Johan, because he won on that map in the first series.
Yeah, maybe it was a one-time build. It's like, if I play this map again and I try to pull the same thing, and it's actually DTs this time. No, he's not going to risk it. He's not going to try twice on this. He was also very fortunate that it was cross-map. Remember? TooDming went for a very quick pneumatized Scarpace to be able to scout, but then that was prevented very well with the units that Arthur had. He made the gateways after that flight of the Overlord. Habitation Station, Frost, Polar Knight. All right, Gold, Immortal, all in. 7 gates and back to Immortal all in on Frost.
Yeah, if I think of Habitation Station and I know that we're going to see Arthur playing a PvZ with this much on stake, I feel this almost has to be an Immortal Sentry all in. Of course, when it's that much in the line of expectation, don't be too surprised if he busts out something completely different. He is definitely the type of Protoss that is capable of going 1 gate fast, expand to the gold. He's a Protoss that has done it in the past. Do you really think we're going to see it, or do you think it's just going to be in his natural?
I think if you go for the gold base, the two main builds that you can do is either Immortals or a lot of gateways attack, which usually you're always going to have to commit to some sort of aggression. And the gateway route is newer and fresher, but I still think the Immortal one is better overall. The thing is, TooDming is a guy who plays on the Korean server. He's very high on Grandmaster, and actually earlier I said he's probably barcoding, which I have no idea. Maybe he's also barcoding, but he's in the top 50 with his main account. He doesn't even smurf. He's like, I'm TooDming, what are you going to do about it?
I'm TooDming and I'm here. Habitation Station, the lobby is up. I can't wait to see these two players duke it out for a spot in WCS America round of 8. It would be the first time in the career of both of these players that they will make it that far in WCS. TooDming could still be a WCS Royal Roader, now that I think about it. This is his first season in Premier League. That would be one hell of a story.
Yeah.
It's very hard with some of the amazing Terran players that we have already in the round of 8. Of course, yesterday we also saw players like Alicia and Revival make it through. So
we've had a Chinese in the round of 8 before, right?
No, we had Maxat make it twice and Jim make it once.
Okay. So it wouldn't be new, but for this guy, it would be new for him. A Chinese Zerg. We're going to have Sigua play. I'm really excited for the Chinese. It's so cool that they're playing in this. They don't get to show their skill too often at tournaments. They don't take part in like big world tournaments, big open tournaments. Even the ones they can qualify for, usually it's they have to take part in the one with the Koreans in the end. So it's very hard for them to be able to make it. But here in this, they've made it very, very far and could make it further in TooDming's case. I think if he plays this well.
Well, the game is up, or at least almost up. Important. It looks like he has a really intense stare down with the dinosaur.
He would not win that one.
He's like, you look away, you look away. Meanwhile, he forgets to build his first drones. He's still staring down the dinosaur. Either way, ESC Arthur representing Team Icy Box is going to be the red Protoss. Actually, representing Team ESC in the right top side of this map. That was a horrible introduction. I think you should do the second one.
No. If you really want to see horrible, to hear horrible, then I can. But I think you're better.
All right, over here in the left top side of the map, we've got the exciting Chinese Zerg player representing Team Zenith of Origin. He is TooDming.
Arthur has already changed things up. Remember the previous time that they played Pylon down the ramp followed by a Forge and a Cannon Rush, which was not at all. And Arthur is not going to go for one of those, he's not going to expect it twice. At this point, I'm pretty sure everybody will scout for it. Funnily enough, no Overlord is being sent to the natural. The second Overlord for TooDming is going to send this across the map, but I'm pretty sure he's going to be checking a minimum. Could even go pull first if he wants to play it very safe. The thing is, it's going to put him a little bit behind economically, as opposed to if he was to go for a hatch first, I think. It's much better to get your queens out quickly.
Against Maxed, he also went pools first, and I think if you go do it against Maxed, you'll most likely do it over here as well. He will send the drone down, showing ambitions of wanting to go hatch first, but after scouting this, he might change his mind, and the spawning pool does indeed go down in the main base. So far, TooDming is not taking any risk. Of course, he doesn't know yet whether it's a Forge opening or not. He could try to drop and hatch somewhere, but then if he gets scanned, it's going to get really dicey.
Interesting. You know, a good thing to do when you go for this opener as Protoss, since you go for the gateway very, very quickly, and you go for the pylon block, you force your opponent to take a natural somewhere else first. If you go for something like Phoenixes, or even an Oracle into Stargate's Phoenixes, you can do very well with it. Your opponent's going to have to be transferring units afar, and the Zerg is going to be in an awkward position at this point. Usually he takes the third base somewhere, and then he takes the natural after as a third base, but in this case, TooDming was patient enough to make sure that did not happen. He's just going to take his natural as first base. So even if this was delayed, I still feel this is better than otherwise.
You mentioned, I think, earlier today that TooDming is well known for being pretty strong in defending two-base aggressions, correct?
Well, that's what I heard from Edison, which I guess...
No, it's probably true.
Yeah, what do you mean, probably?
Yeah. No, because we were laughing about it, but I mean, obviously, TooDming is part of Zenith of Origin, which is not the same team as Invictus Gaming, which Edison is the manager of. So whenever Edison speaks about any of those Chinese players, you can be pretty damn sure that it's true. And he's also always very realistic about his own players. He already said in the start of the day that it's going to be very hard for Maxed against Tasia. It's his weakest matchup, and Tasia is extremely good.
Yeah. Oh, the Stalker. I wonder if he's going to be able to get the Overlord here. That would be a nice win early on. Especially, remember that hatchery was delayed by TooDming, so... he would have to start one additional Overlord.
He won't get it. It's going to be very close, but he won't get it. Probably 1 or 2 hits short.
Is that your professional betting? Professional better opinion?
I've tried this many times. It will.
Give me odds?
It will be. It will live. I guarantee you. 3 hits. I've tried this too many times, Johan.
You know, usually, if you want to do this, a good thing to do is to put the gateway in the back of your main line. Then your opponent cannot see how fast you start a Stalker. But in this case, Arthur wanted to go for the wall, and is justified now because he wanted to go for the gold base.
Habitation is one of the harder maps to snipe and overload early on for all your ambitious Protoss players out there. Habitation is kind of a small map, so most of the time the Overlord can just fly straight over your base, and it will still be safe even if you drop the gate at 11 instead of 13.
What's the best map to do it?
Frost is lovely.
I think Yangtze.
Yangtze is really good. The second one on the left side is like a guaranteed kill, unless they do something different. Either way, Archer is indeed going 1 gate fast expand at the gold. We mentioned it before, Johan, so I think it's pretty obvious what is coming.
Robo.
No Robo yet, so it could still be 7 gate aggression as well.
Or 8.
The more the merrier.
We know the builds.
Far too well.
We are quite dirty Protosses ourselves.
This is, of course, going to skyrocket the economy from Archer. For the people who don't play StarCraft that often and are watching right now, the gold minerals give you a little additional income compared to the blue ones. Of course, this is an awkward place to take your first base, but it is worth it if you're able to get away with it. And if we take a look at the income tab right now, like Funka already shows us, we are very close in income.
If you don't play StarCraft that often and you play on this map, take the gold. That's what Rod is saying. And TooDming, it's funny because you don't really see Zergs try and attempt to take the gold all that often.
This is juicy, by the way, getting a Stalker in the middle of the map with your slow links. Nothing to complain about.
How do you know a Stalker is juicy and not like dry meat or something? Or robotic meat?
Because they bleed blue when they die.
Okay. I'm actually surprised you dignify this comment with an answer. Good on you.
Burrow already being researched in the first roaches, even in production. 4 more gates on the way, so I think... No, 5, 6? Oh my god, is that 9 gate? What? That's 9 gates, right?
Yeah.
So we were
I'm doing the math. Wait a second. Yeah, it's 9.
No, all right, already roaches in production. So TooDming said, I have 45 drones. I can make a ridiculous amount of zerglings and roaches of 45 drones.
Yeah.
He has speed as well. The first spine crawler is going down. He knows what's coming, even before he scouted all those gates. But I think by now he also confirmed that there are quite a few gates. Yeah, he saw it with a slow
Their
link.
first series that they played earlier started with a nice hold by TooDming against an Immortal push, and at the time he went for Hydralisks. A lot of Hydralisks and Zerglings. It was the right move, I think, against the Robo, but now he's gonna be up against 9 gateways and getting this many roaches.
Burrow.
Yeah, with Burrow, he should be able to hold here.
It's not going to be easy. It's never easy as a Zerg player. But I do think, indeed, if he uses it properly, if he gets a good engagement, if he's able to force out a lot of force fields, and then Burrow, Arthur has no robotics facility. That probe dies immediately. First force fields go down, trap 3 roaches, but Burrow can be used.
Oh, he revealed it, I guess that's correct.
It's fine. Like, if I'm Arthur right now, I'm already sweating, man. Like, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? How long can I fight this?
Oh, I'm surprised Arthur force field this much when he knew there was Burrow. What he could have done is use force field on top of these roaches, then they cannot unburrow, right?
That's smart. I did not know that.
Yeah, and then he could have gone into the natural, but anyway, there's going to be so many units coming out now for...
Arthur is transitioning.
Of course he is, man. Are you kidding me? You cannot stay on this.
Some pros players never transition you on. Gateway push or die trying, I know all about it.
Just attacking to the, like, you're not killing a single unit, you're like, well, I tried.
Robo is going down, roach speed being researched now as well, as the layer just finished up for TooDming. So far an excellent hold without even really doing a whole lot. Just starting producing units at the right moment and having Burrow, showing that you have Burrow, scared Arthur enough. Of course, Arthur is not down and out just yet. Wow, look at the production tab. There were 19 drones in production. That's pretty sick.
Man, that is a lot of roaches.
I would love to see Tunneling Claws be researched as well. Okay, actually he is researching it already. So many force fields being used by Arthur. He has to be careful with those roaches though, Jon, because those roaches are going to be trapped soon, and the robotics facility is producing that observer.
Yeah.
So you could say these roaches are caught between a force field and a hard place.
Tunneling Claws takes a while to research, and he's gonna get the observer before this. Yeah. This could be a nice hold by Arthur.
But he needs a few more units.
Yeah.
Like, if all of those roaches start fighting this right now, Arthur is still going to lose quite a few units. We see 1 sentry falling already, 2nd sentry going down, 3 sentries going down before he zones out those roaches. But in the end, Arthur will be able to pick off everything that is trapped right now.
Tunneling Claws still about a minute from finishing here. Actually 40 seconds, but Arthur is not moving in there. I don't think he expects. He's waiting. I don't think he knows Tunneling Claws is on the way. If he waits too long and the roaches get into the main, he's gonna take some damage. Actually, no, he completely walled off with the buildings, so he should be okay.
I think he just wants to make sure he doesn't lose too many units,
especially the sentries.
Yeah, because he doesn't have an Immortal in this Protoss army, so there is not that much DPS. So even, of course, he will win the fight, but he doesn't want to win the fight while losing 4 or 5 sentries. And we can see him being pretty careful about engaging all of these roaches that he trapped so consciously.
Do you think he goes for a follow-up attack?
Yeah, it's Arthur.
I think a lot of Protosses here, they will try and go into a +1 maybe, and a blink as well. But with Arthur, you never know. He gets an Immortal. It's gonna be it, man. 9 gates Immortal.
But I can't blame him. If you just picked off 25 roaches already at the 12-minute mark, you might as well just push it and try to do your luck again. TooDming has not dropped a Hydralisk then. It's roaches and roaches only. He has 2 upgrades. He has... where's roach speed? It should be about done, right?
No, yeah, I don't think he ever made it.
Oh,
he's making it now.
Wow, that's... He must have forgot about it then.
No, I think he wanted to get... He saw that he had a lot of roaches, so he's like, I'm gonna get Tunneling Claws. The thing is, that took way too long, or longer than he had anticipated for him to get.
Correct. He only has 1 roach run, of course.
So because of that now, well, he's not gonna have speed on time, but with the mass that he has, I think he should be fine. Speed,
I don't know,
he has speed
Jon.
anyway on creep.
Oh, this is actually really smart. He still has 2 roaches in the main. This is going to be very annoying. The supply looks very good for TooDming. He's going to send roaches to the gold base as well. Very well done there by TooDming.
There's no cannon there.
Nope. This is going to be annoying. His entire economy is going to get wrecked. But what if he loses everything on the other side of the map? There's only 1 Immortal in this mix. Tunneling Claws being used again.
Yeah, he's gonna have to pull back because of the time warp here. Nicely done by both players. TooDming is maxed out and he has the money to remake units behind this. I think he should pull drones. He's gonna do just that. And he can remax behind this. He needs to trade as well as possible.
He's gonna get the Immortal, I think, or at least a lot of these sentries. Tunneling Claws being used again. So far, he's doing everything right. A lot of stuff going down in the main from Arthur. But still, this is a terrifying Protoss army with still quite a few force fields left. Of course, Arthur won't be able to reinforce, but Will TooDming ever be able to get out enough units that he can actually kill that army, which still has that one also precious Immortal and a Warp Prism, which is important.
Yeah, but he cannot warp anymore. This would just be for pickup on those Immortals.
Army supply right now, Johan, is 100 against 75.
Yeah.
That's not that bad for a Protoss.
Yeah. It's
not at all.
Even pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm surprised TooDming doesn't start some kind of big wall of spine crawlers up his natural. He's preparing a big flank of roaches from behind. He could get force fielded out. Remember, he has tunneling claws. He's starting. Where is he making the spines? In his main?
Yeah, I think he's preparing for a full-on base trade. Arthur is preparing for the same thing. This is why he picked up those probes in the Warp Prism. If it comes to a full-on base trade, if he loses everything on the other side of the map, he still has something.
And he's gonna need some good force field. The roaches get in there. They're gonna burrow on top of this army.
Oh, that's a lot of roaches. There is so many roaches. I think actually this is good enough for TooDming, right? Where the Immortal is still pushing out so much damage. More roaches being zoned out. Army supply 90 against 39 right now. These roaches will battle through, and GG is called. TooDming wins game 1 on Habitation Station. Johan, I don't think I could describe a more Arthur game than this one. This game had Arthur written all over it.
Yeah, I think Edison was right, man. TooDming is pretty good against 2 bases. Timings, he made a lot of units. He knew when to attack. I have to question that move where he got the tunneling claws before speed and then didn't really end up being able to do much with it. Maybe if he had sold something different, you know, and really surprised his opponent with that, but, you know, he moved across the map, he engaged first with the tunneling claws and then Arthur knew. And it was a nice move by him, by the way. I think a lot of players, they wouldn't have reacted right to this. Upon seeing tunneling claws, you should know that your opponent is going to be able to get into your bases if you just have sentries there for force field and some units. I don't think I would have walled my ramp, I have to be honest here. I don't think I would have done a full wall-off. I think he would have been able to get into my main and we would have done damage from there. Can be difficult to anticipate the next move in these kind of unusual games that you see.
But I guess he went for the full wall-off in the main because he was worried about those tunneling claws, right? Those roaches. He wanted to keep them out at all costs.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's a smart move, don't you think so? At least temporarily?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were giving him a compliment?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was slightly distracted. All right, so the score is 1-0 in favor of TooDming. TooDming just one map win away from having the biggest success in his StarCraft 2 career, at least on foreign. So it has been pretty successful in China, but making it to WCS America round of 8 would be fantastic. And he has shown us already that he has some world-class ZVZ. Of course, it's hard to say world-class because we haven't seen him that many times. But if you're able to defeat someone like Scarlet, who has been capable of defeating, you know, some of the absolute best Zergs in the world on the bigger stages, it shows that TooDming must have some pretty damn solid ZVZ as well. And his ZVP looks pretty solid. He's not there yet, but he's getting close.
What do you make of that wristband?
It's pretty cool. I have nothing against it.
I think he's a bit of a Maru wannabe.
I said it earlier today to Paul. I was like, Arthur looks a little bit like a Maru. He's like, I think
just because anybody that wears a wristband looks like Maru.
No, but he's also kind of small. He's not tall.
All right, Roddy, introduce our players.
Over here on the right top side of the map, representing Team ESC, Icybox, the Protoss player that's on the ropes. He is Arthur. He's gonna go up against the Zerg player representing Team Zenith of Origin, the Chinese Zerg. He is TooDming. And
Pull 8. I think he's hoping to catch Arthur off guard with some kind of Nexus into a gateway, which you can do a lot of damage against, and you're not gonna be without any economy behind it. Yeah. Do you have any experience in this situation, Rory?
Yeah, I think that's almost. I think you're almost dead. I think it's so hard to hold.
Has it happened to you, or do you always do the Roti build and make sure you're safe?
I always do Roti build, and I still die.
What is the Roti build on this map in PSZ?
11 gate.
Oh well.
No, I go Forge Fast Expand.
You don't take any damage from Lynx. You auto win against Lynx.
Yeah, but sometimes I skip the sellout and I don't scout, so then I have like one stalker against like 8 slow lanes.
Okay.
But this is a good opening for Arthur, guys. We see the 12 gate going down in the main. It is still annoying to deal with these slow links. And one of the things I find most annoying, Johan, if I play like this, is that I don't know if there is speed on the other side of the map or not. Of course, the majority of the time there is no speed, but if you take a risk and if you don't have a wall of yet, and suddenly 20 speed links run across the map. So that's something that I'm still a little hesitant about. But Arthur is going to scout, and if he can identify that there is no extractor, that would be absolutely massive for him.
I think one good thing to do upon seeing links, if you want to make sure you don't die to speed, is wall off up your ramp, even though you're getting a Nexus down it. And we'll see how Arthur chooses to adapt. I don't think he shouldn't meet those Zerglings in the middle of the map, should he? If he goes by the Watchtower, no.
I don't think he's going to see the links, but...
usually if you click from one base to another here, you go just below that, I don't even know what to call it, those lights. Oh, he's clicked. Oh yeah, okay. TooDming is making sure that doesn't happen. He went around and he's not going to be spotted here.
It's close, but Arthur no.
He started a Zealot, but he could cancel it. And I'm not even sure that's going to happen before the links get there.
I love how Funka showed it as well. The probe getting so close to seeing that second set of links, but in the end he won't be able to see it. So that Zealot is still in production. Will he cancel the Zealot? Most likely not.
He saw the late hatch, and Funka is a god, man. Funka is the observing bourgeois, I think we can say.
He's the next coming of Adebisi. Adebisi was good, but like the next generation of Adebisi. Chrono Boost being used now as well. StarCraft in production so far. It seems like Arthur is going to take minimal damage of this early pool of TooDming. And then, of course, as a Protoss player, you have to love life a little bit.
Arthur has hit a probe across the map. Any chance you think he could go for like a 3 gates or 4 gates behind this?
But I still think you want to get an expand as well. Like, I think the 3 gate would be great, but...
Oh, he's Chrono Boosting Warp Gate right behind this. He's not going to have... I guess he's going to have another Chrono Boost to walk with after this one. So this will hit pretty quickly. We'll see if he cuts probe. He's still making them. Okay, he's going to do +3 on his other assimilator, so probably not some kind of 2 or 3 gate or 4 gates.
But it might still be like just drop the Nexus, drop the pylon there, and then get 2 gates, and then put on some pressure, because he must know that, hey, TooDming took some economic damage from this.
Why is he mining so much gas then?
I don't know. Maybe he likes sentries. Get a mothership core.
Maybe he likes sentries.
Yeah.
Sounds great. I like sentries, dude.
Most Protoss players do every now and then. That Overlord is on a path to getting pretty close to scouting that pro, but I don't think he's going to see it. Well, actually, he might see it.
This is going to be close. No, he shouldn't. Oh, yeah, he's going to... No. Yes.
Yes, he will see it.
Cool.
This can actually make TooDming's life quite a bit easier. TooDming is doing an extremely good job in all of the series that I've seen of him today in picking up on slow probes. Of course, nevertheless, guys, he took a lot of economic damage from that opening, like Johan tries to point out as well. We can see 28 probes for a Protoss against 21 drones for the Zerg. Yeah, this is just an awesome scenario for Arthur. TooDming trying to catch the Protoss player off guard here on Frost, the second map. But Arthur didn't play it greedy, didn't do anything stupid, and he defended very well.
He caught him on guard. Double gates was made behind this. So if Arthur was to do what you said and starts to build up a good sentry count, and then behind this throws down additional gateways, knowing he's already ahead on the economic side of things, goes for a follow-up attack. This, even if he doesn't win right there and then, even if he doesn't do any damage, he's going to slow down the economy of this opponent even more. And he could do quite some damage with some nice force fields and all that. So, going to have to keep an eye on that as well. He's still chrono boosting out. I guess Arthur, it seems like every single time he gets a mothership core very, very quickly, which against Terran and Protoss, it's standard. Against Zerg, especially with an opener like this, you don't necessarily have to make it all that fast. But he really likes it.
4th and 5th gate going down as well, and of course with that mothership core he always has the option to still recall out 6th and 7th gate going down as well, and the 8th gate.
Arthur is like Hug version 2.0.
Arthur is like I raise your 8 pool with 8 gates.
Well, what can TooDming do to call that?
Spine crawlers.
8 spine crawlers?
Yeah. I would go with 8 spines. Like, there's just no way.
Start with 1.
That he's going to be able to go up to 3 bases and defend 3 bases in a wide open area. He just didn't have the economy to do so. Right now he's on 42 drones, guys, but he has absolutely no units. He's unaware of all these gateways. He's unaware of these units making his way across the map. 1 spine is cute and all, but you're going to need 7 more, man.
Yeah,
okay,
or a lot of units. Actually, if he was to get Burrow like he did in previous game, he would do well against these gateway units, but he's not going to have nearly as many roaches as he did before.
It's still going to... Yeah, I guess he could research Burrow on the hatchery that's not upgrading to layer, but he just didn't have any gas. Yeah, his economy was crippled after that early game. These roaches are going to do reasonably well, but let's not forget, no speed this time, no Burrow, no tunneling claws.
Maybe they're not going to do well, though, if they get force fielded and they don't have Burrow.
Yeah,
they're going to do anything but well.
I mean, they're still roaches, Johan. You have to respect the roaches.
Oh, I do.
You learn the hard way.
I might not respect the Void Race, but the Roach is the unit I respect the most and fear the most.
Either way, these two Spine Crawlers and Roaches, that's something that could trade reasonably well against his Protoss army. It's amazing that TooDming still has the creep spread that he has, considering how this game has played out.
Yeah.
Makes it a little more annoying to reinforce. Either way, still a good position for R2 to be in. First engagement will go down, force fields land, Spine Crawlers get picked off. Good transfuse there on the Spine.
Wow. The Guardian Shield is covering his entire army, so...
Actually, TooDming is doing really okay so far. I'm not sure if it's going to be enough, but I really like what he's doing so far.
Yeah, good force field. The man that donuts. Look at these poor roaches. You know, they stack 4 of them on top of each other.
TooDming tried to buy some time. He has 8 more roaches. 8 is just the number of this game. 8 more roaches in production.
No more force fields available.
Yeah, if all of those roaches hatch at the same time, roach speed is 70% done. How many drones have fallen so far? Not even that many yet.
Yeah, he's still on 41 against 39 probes, so looks like we could have a hold from TooDming. Oh, he has to pull the drones.
Yeah,
It feels like his units are taking forever to come out of this
exactly. Never did it take that long to produce a few roaches, but so far he is pushing this back. R2 not really microing with his stalkers either. He's losing a lot of them. I guess he was warping in. This is because the creep spread was so good from TooDming that R2 has to watch away and then watch this pile and macro warp in units. Well, there we go. Macro as a Protoss player means that you warp in units, and then he can go back to his stalkers, and it took him quite a while. I still think that, of course, Arthur is in an okay position, but these roaches start trading pretty well.
Yeah, he's kiting very, very well with them, and the stalkers still do quite some damage. 0-0 units on both sides here.
The problem is that all the queens were in the natural, so he didn't have injects for a while, so he wasn't able to produce the amount of roaches that he was hoping for. Absolutely 0 larvae on the map right now. Drones are forced if we pull it again. So far it's been an excellent hold by TooDming, but I'm afraid it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, the production from Arthur here, who's now 39 probes against 32 drones, he's starting to be too much. 8 gateways against double hatch without injects. Yeah. That's a big, big difference.
Good force there on the ramp as well. A couple of roaches getting zoned out on the high ground. More and more drones are falling. Supplies are low for both players, but of course Arthur still has a far superior economy, and he can trade units for units right now, all day, every day. GG is called. Arthur will win the second game after TooDming rolled the dice a little bit early on, but did not get rewarded for it. That's a live lesson, guys. Don't play craps.
Yeah, you're right. Coming out of you, out of all people. Okay, if TooDming had raised the 8 gates with 8 spine crawlers, what would Arthur needed to counter the 8 spine crawlers?
I think just contain and macro are behind it.
Wrong. 8 void rays.
No, but like there's no need for him to. But like those 2 spines, they did pretty well. But the force field, this is the tricky part. It's such a narrow choke point there in the natural off frost if you're only on 2 bases. The time warp with all those force fields made it so hard for those roaches to be very effective, even though when those spines were doing an okay job and the queens were trying to do their best job to keep those spines alive, there was just not that much additional damage coming out of TooDming's army.
Yeah, you know, at first it looked like he might be able to comfortably hold, but then all of a sudden, man, it's unbelievable that those force fields, he didn't have any one of them anymore. Just at the time he started to really break into this defense of the Zerg and lower his unit count enough to be able to make sure that he was going to kill drones as well, which is what he had to do here. If you had been barely held and hadn't killed any drones, this was not going to work.
I think the biggest thing, what we mentioned during the game as well, is that all of the queens were on the low ground, which means that he wasn't able to inject anymore. And of course, every single time you're forced to pull the drones, you're not mining. That also means that your production will get slowed down. Either way, nothing more exciting than the rubber match in the final series of the WCS America group. This time it's a round of 16. The winner will move on to the round of 8. The loser has to go home. Will it be the Red Protoss player spawning on the north side of Polar Night, representing Team ESC Icybox, Arthur? I'm not used to introducing players from ESC Icybox. I have to practice this a little more. Or will it be the Chinese Zerg, representing Team Zenith of Origin? We got to know him and love him as TooDming.
TooDming has a cool shirt, man, and a cool dinosaur. Hey, you know, earlier I asked him about this, like, because when I went to the desk he plays on, I asked him, like, he had a phone, he had like a dinosaur and like a whole bunch of stuff, his wallet, and like, what is all this doing here? He's like, I need it.
He needs the dinosaur. Yeah, maybe he has a... he said he was a fan of Idra. in this trivia. If he was a fan of Stefano, it would make sense. He's like, Stefano always brought the little dog around. He's like, I'm going to raise Stefano's dog with a dinosaur.
You and your raising, man.
Next time, is someone bringing like a fluffy gorilla. That would be awesome.
Like a sick stuffed banana or something.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? This has nothing to do with StarCraft.
That could be cool, man. I actually think that teams should start doing that. You know, have like a little mascot, like all sports teams have. That would
like
be actually...
Startel, a big star with a smile.
Yeah, and then like you can actually like sell that in an online store. Man, I just think I opened a whole new market for teams. Damn, I should be a manager.
Genius.
Either way, we see the probe blocking the hatchery that could have gone down in the natural. So TooDming said instead, this time I will go hatch first. And this time I'm just going to do it all the way on the far left. And he's going to follow it up with a spawning pool in his main. So no crazy double hatch shenanigans, which would have been very hard with that.
For a second, I thought TooDming wanted to do double hatch in front of that probe. The natural as a third, but no. Going to go and play it a little bit safer. A nice opener by Arthur. If this had happened in your previous game, he would have taken a lot of damage.
Exactly.
Quite fortunate for him.
The Koreans, man, they're so good in mind games.
Not as good as you are at rock, paper, scissors, Roddy.
Can't have it all. I would rather be good in other things, but I guess I'm quite satisfied with beating you in rock, paper, scissors. I don't care about actually winning, I care about
There's
your...
not many things you can beat me at, Roddy, and rock, paper, scissors is one of those rare things.
It's okay, I still have a beautiful Warcraft 3 replay.
Oh, God. Don't go there.
Next is about to finish up in the natural for Arthur. As Cybernetic Square is being wiped in. Johan, Polar Knight, you as a very well-experienced Protoss player who's still very active at the highest level. What do you like to do on this map? Earlier today we saw Maxat be very ambitious with quick 3 bases. I think that style is very hard to pull off, but what are your thoughts on it?
I think it's hard to pull off, but it's one of the better styles that you can do on this map. But here with Arthur, I feel like it's very unlikely we could see something like that. Before, when he went for that build, I think he went for the Robo behind it, and that was it. Yeah, I think it was the first game that he played against TooDming. He went for the Robo, the Immortal Push. On this map, if he went for that, I think it will be very, very hard for him to make it work. You see, he skipped the Zealot again. He's getting a Stalker first quite quickly. I don't think he's going to chrono boost that, because TooDming is going to be careful with his Overlords. And he has that one sneaky, cheeky little probe hidden down on the map, which he always tries to get out. This could actually make him go into something different, say like a 4-gate pressure on the left-hand side. It's a lot of Zealots, something like that.
I really like how Vanka is showing this as well. Look at the mini-map movement from TooDming. There is just stuff moving all around. Throughout the entire day, he has been so good with scouting early game. Almost nothing goes unchecked, and here we go again. It's so cool how you see that on the mini-map. There are Overlords moving, there are slow Zerglings moving. He checks every little corner, and it might seem like something that should be standard on the highest level. Trust me, guys, it's still really hard to find that one small dot that's hidden on this big map somewhere. Of course, Polar Knight not one of the biggest maps, but still, TooDming has done a fantastic job so far the entire day.
I think so many players actually skip that, even very, very good players. And they get like every time I watch VODs of good Protoss players killing
copy their
top
builds.
Zergs, and I'm like, this never happens in my game. Like when I put a probe there, it always dies, but it's actually a lot of the time for Protoss to be able to go well into a game, it's going to take a proxy pylon and some aggression to either force units out of their opponents, at least against, I'm talking about against Zerg, obviously, to either force units out of their opponent or kill some of the economy. And here, this could have been what was going to happen, but didn't. Do you think he was? I don't think he was going to go for like gateway pressure, but if he had this one hour on the map at the time he starts moving out, then he proxies pylons very easily next to his Immortals, and he doesn't need to send a probe out on the map. And when he arrives, the pylon is already up, so that would have been great.
We have seen him do this in the past as well, Johan. He's going to open up with the Warp Prism. He might still build Immortals at home, but it's very possible that he just picks up those sentries and then he tries to force field TooDming out of his main base. This is Arthur as well. This is the Arthur that we see so often.
He's doing this so smart. He's putting the Mothership Core on the right-hand side on the watchtowers to make sure no links can come there.
And below the Mothership Core, he had vision of that entire area with that observer. So he's clearing out the path. He's trying to make it safe for his Warp Prism. This is actually excellent play by Arthur. And if this works right now, it's not because, oh, that was poor by TooDming. That was just very well done by Arthur. That's really sick.
An observer clearing the path.
Speed only halfway down. Hydralisk is going down right now, but as soon as those force fields land on the ramp, Johan, it's almost curtains. This is really sick by Arthur. Excellent execution.
Hydralist then is on the way. If this was already up and he was to make some Hydralist now, maybe he would have a chance with some 6 stutter stepping, but with the amount of Zealots that are being warped in, there's so many gateways.
But the Hydralist then is gonna fall.
There's 6 gateways, he's getting 2 more behind this.
Yeah.
If Arthur does enough damage here, behind this, he takes to Colossus, he does anything, an Immortal Push, he's gonna be in a great position.
These force fields are not going to expire for a long time, and what do you do if you're TooDming? You might try to counter, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Arthur...
Vengeful Sax.
Where is the Hydralist then? Is it in the natural? Yes, it is. That's actually good news for TooDming. So
he's getting Groove Spines. Do you think he's gonna try to break the ramp with some Hydralists down there that can shoot the sentries up there? Only if Arthur is not careful. If he leaves his far back and off. Losing the lair here though, that's a disaster. He saved the drones for now. I'm actually surprised that Arthur wasn't chasing that a little bit more.
Yeah, I hope for Arthur that he's aware of that. But then again, Arthur, do you think he's gonna recall soon? Do you think he's going to recall this entire army?
He can just stay there.
Yeah,
make enough units at home to be safe, tech to Colossus, and then from there it's very, very hard to lose. If he recalls, this is a big mistake, because these drones, there's so many drones. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, but maybe he forgot about it in the grand scheme of things. You know, he's like, oh, okay, I'm doing so well. I killed these buildings. So he might just forget about them.
The drones are like, oh god, please.
Yeah, the drones are like shivering.
Don't check there. It's like, you know, when you play hide and seek and you hide in this terrible location, you're like, oh god, please, just forget about it one time.
You've seen the carbot animation where the Phoenix is chasing the Overlords, right? And they're like hugging each other in the air. That's the drones right now in that little corner. Either way, TooDming played this patient. Like, he didn't just lose units over and over again. He got quite a few Hydras out. Now the Warp Prism is active on the left side of the map. It's gonna be annoying over here, this exposed third base. And during all this, Arthur is dropping the Robo-Bay, dropping the Twilight Console. Pretty sexy play by Arthur.
Oh, the observer sees that the Hydralisks are basically out there alone at the natural here. He could move down the ramp and try something, but only having Zealots and Sentries, I guess, is pretty difficult.
I think he's nervous about losing the Mothership Core.
Yeah. Well, you can leave it up the ramp. Yeah, even then. You and your Mothership Core is dying, man. I'll never understand. Oh, I guess I understand because I watch your stream.
No comment. That's why I don't make them very often. I'm afraid you watch and they're losing. These 4 Zealots trading very well. They do not have +1 just yet, but still picked off a lot of links. A few more Zealots being wiped in, and that should be enough to put on some real pressure on this base on the left top side of the map. Of course, TooDming still is on 64 drones, but a lot of these drones are not working, guys. They're still playing hide and seek in this little corner of Polar Knight, and they're doing a pretty good job, but they're not being very effective.
I like the idea of taking another base somewhere else, and I think at this point, if Arthur had recalled...
There we go, he recalls.
Does recall now, but if he had recalled earlier...
Oh,
why does he have to kill that?
TooDming knows immediately because it was a full wall-off and the drones are being transferred.
Yeah, but no, it wasn't a full wall-off. The drones can go between that extractor and like the minerals on the left-hand side.
Yeah, but then there's the Hydralist then on the north. I don't know, maybe you're right. I don't know. He killed it. But the biggest problem is, though, there is nothing that's good against Colossus. There is a big Protoss army moving across the map.
Arthur with more supply.
Yeah.
This is a terrible situation for TooDming here.
A disaster.
What was that?
That was my friend.
A disaster.
Disaster. I love it. Overseer is going to fall, and will Arthur, for the first time in his career, make it to the round of 8 of a massive tournament? Because that is, of course, what WCS America is. So much money on the line, a lot of WCS points on the line, and you would almost say this can't go wrong with so many force fields, with the Time Warp, and with Colossus against Hydralisk. Johan, I think the writing is on the wall for this one. Force fields will go down. Guardian Shield being popped. TooDming is trying to find some way and a favorable engagement, but it's just not going to happen. There is too much DPS in this Protoss ball. Arthur is still up 30 supply. Spire, he's trying to reproduce it. Of course, he lost the layer in the main base, which is, you know, the most important thing that made it so hard for TooDming, that even if he had resources to maybe produce some Corruptors, he had no access to the Spire for the longest time. And GG is called, and Arthur will make it to WCS America round of 8.
Pretty clutch timing here behind the initial War Prism in the main. You said it. If the force field goes down and the Zerg's not ready, it's pretty much already curtains. Very rarely have I seen a comeback from there. I've seen 1 or 2, but...
on my stream, I guess.
Your words, not mine. But seriously, has it happened?
Yes, I did it.
Really?
Also on Polar Knight against Sappy. I still lost.
Oh my god, what happened? You recalled? Or?
No, he had upgraded links and he just counted and then he broke through. Yeah.
Only on Ro16 stream. That's why I tune in every day, guys.
Either way, a fantastic performance by Arthur. You know, this is a strategy that's frowned upon for a long time because it's like, oh, you're rolling the dice and you're trying to make something happen, but he really set this up so calculated. The mothership core taking control of the Zelnaga watchtower, the observers southwards of that mothership core, clearing out that area, making it free for the warp prism to fly through. You know, it's never a sure win, but with that, it's a much higher success rate than when you just blindly send your warp prism across the map and you're like, pray to God that it won't get scouted. So mad props to Arthur.
I talked about this a little bit earlier. I think Arthur is very good at selling stories. So I'm always surprised when he goes for a build like Immortal All-In and he doesn't try at all to fake anything. He just goes for it. As strong as it can be, against somebody strong like TooDming, it's going to be hard if you don't try to sell a story and you don't trick your opponent a minimum into thinking you're doing something differently than you actually are.
I think it was overall an entertaining series. This does it for Group A, guys. So, of course, don't tune out yet because we're going to have some Group B action later today. Of course, we'll still summon up Group A a little bit with Paul in a short while.
Group C and D, yeah.
Group D, sorry, yes. Group D, well, this is Group A of the day, but obviously it's Group C of the entire tournament. And Group D will be played after this. We have some of the best Terran players in the world. What about Red Bull's Bomber? What about Paul, the back-to-back reigning WCS America champion? I can't wait for it. Johan, do you have any final thoughts before we're going to throw it over to Paul?
I think Arthur is not sad anymore.
I wouldn't be sad if I was in WCS America round of 8. Paul, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. Yes, welcome back to the main studio right now with Kalaris. Difficult for TooDming. I kind of feel for him. I'm not a Zerg, but I feel some Zerg tears because he really did pour himself into that match again. And again, started off like a train and you thought, ooh, this could be dangerous. If Arthur, you know, he underestimates him again, this could be a dangerous game. But Arthur just showed us, you know, the perfect kind of response to that kind of pressure. And nailed it, and got himself a place in the round of 8. He's done superbly.
It's so funny how Arthur plays, because like TooDming knows it's coming. Yeah, every single time he knows it's coming.
I think everyone knew it was coming in the studio.
But there's so many tricks that he has up his sleeve. It's really good to see that he can actually just always somehow, some way, wiggle his way through and then get in there. It was impressive.
Yeah, it's his first time in WCS America. He didn't qualify for any of the 3 last year. But he's done well, and I think he can go away from here and return next year. He's back in Premier League again in round of 32 in Season 2, and I think the experience of that will be great for him. He'll come back much more confident next season, surely.
Yeah, I should think so, especially since, you know, we saw streaks of brilliance from him when it came to his previous series against Maxed. Very, very good army control, good crisis management, good decision-making. Really caught Maxed off guard with the great use of Burrow as well. Technically, he did catch Arthur quite, you know, off guard as well in that first game with the Burrow, which was nice to see as well. But other than that, you can't keep this Arthur guy down, man. He just keeps going.
He's a dangerous opponent for anyone going to get him in the quarterfinals. He's going to play one of the winners of the group, but that's a tough quarterfinal. I don't think any of the players qualified so far in first place are going to want to play him, are they?
Yeah, it's just dangerous. Just really, really dangerous, really volatile. You don't know what he's going to do. Well, yes, you kind of do know what he's going to do. But
you don't know which version of what he's going to do.
There's a lot of different ones, so it's cool.
All right, okay. Thank you very much. We are going to take a very quick break. When we come back, however, we will continue with more StarCraft 2 from WCS America with the start of Group D. D for Group of Death. That's right, Polt and Bomber in the same group as Crank. We'll also have Jigua in there, the oldest player left in WCS America. It's going to be an absolute cracker. Don't miss it. Join us in a few.